Opening hook, the seed of happiness. Have you ever paused and wondered why, when we give, our hearts feel lighter, fuller, happier? You might think happiness comes from what we own: money, material things, or personal success. But what if I told you that sometimes, the greatest happiness comes from giving without expecting anything in return? Picture a tiny seed planted in the ground. At first, it's nothing special, small, easily overlooked. But with care, water, and patience, that seed grows into a tree, blooms, bears fruit, and provides shade, nourishment, and joy for everything around it. In life, compassion and generosity are exactly like that seed. When you sow kindness, share what you have, or perform a selfless act, you don't just change the world outside, you transform the world within yourself. Think back to the last time you helped someone without expecting anything in return. Remember the feeling when you saw their smile, their gratitude, or even just the relief they experienced. That moment, even if small, brings a joy that money or success can never buy. Modern psychology also supports this. People who regularly practice acts of kindness and generosity tend to have better mental health, lower stress levels, and more vitality in life. Today, I want to guide you through 10 profound insights about compassion and giving, principles the Buddha taught over 2,500 years ago. You'll realize that happiness isn't something you receive from others or from possessions. It's something you plant and nurture with genuine kindness. The more seeds of compassion you sow, the more fruits you harvest, not just for yourself, but for the world around you. So, what's the first seed you'll plant today? A smile, an encouraging word, or a small unexpected act of kindness? Let's explore and experience the transformative power of compassion and generosity together. Understanding the nature of compassion. When we talk about compassion, many people think of it as a simple feeling of pity, a gentle tug in the heart when we see someone suffering. But in reality, compassion is much deeper than that. It is the ability to truly empathize with another's pain and, at the same time, cultivate a heartfelt desire to relieve that suffering and help them find peace and ease. The Buddha once said, "Those who understand compassion sow seeds of blessings in the world." This isn't just words, it's a reminder that compassion is a living energy, an inner action that spreads outward, like a seed planted in the heart that gradually blossoms everywhere. Imagine a humble monk in a temple, who every day picks up tiny pieces of trash from the courtyard. No one notices, no one applauds. Yet, through these seemingly invisible acts, a quiet light grows within him, a profound sense of peace that nothing else can match. His patience, sincerity, and recognition of the value in small actions make his heart shine. Compassion doesn't need grand gestures. It starts with small, mindful acts, listening to a friend who is sad, giving up your seat to an elder on the bus, or simply offering a genuine smile to a stranger. Each time you practice compassion, you are planting seeds of blessings. Over time, these seeds grow, benefiting not only others, but also enriching your own soul with warmth and joy. Ask yourself, have you noticed that those small moments, when you help someone wholeheartedly, often bring you more joy and inner peace than anything material? Compassion is truly an art of living, teaching us to connect deeply with the world, recognize the bonds between all beings, and understand that happiness is not only what we receive, it is what we share. Giving is not just about money. When we talk about giving, most people immediately think of money, gifts, or material possessions. But true giving goes far beyond material things. It is an act, a gesture, a moment of sharing with someone, and often, these small acts can have a far deeper impact than any gift you could buy. Imagine a young girl walking down a busy street. She notices an elderly man struggling to cross, holding a cane, hands shaking. She steps forward, gently takes his hand, and guides him safely across the street. A small, simple gesture, no money, no fanfare, but the man feels warmth, reassurance, and care. And the girl? She learns a lesson in kindness, compassion, and the value of helping others, something no amount of money could ever teach. Giving can be spending time listening to a friend who is sad, sharing your knowledge to help someone overcome a challenge, or offering a genuine smile to a stranger. Each of these actions is a seed of happiness. They spread joy, not just for the recipient, but also cultivate a sense of peace and compassion within you. Ask yourself, do you notice the everyday opportunities to give around you? Sometimes it's a small gesture that you might overlook, but it can change someone's entire day. When we give freely, without calculation or expectation, we open the door for happiness to flow, and in that moment, our own heart is healed too. These moments show us that giving doesn't have to be grand or showy. It's an art of living, where kindness is practiced through tangible actions. The Buddha taught, giving is not only about wealth, but about sharing love, care, and sincerity. When you practice this daily, you are not only sowing blessings for others, but also planting warmth within your own heart, where joy and peace grow a little more each day. So today, what seed of giving will you plant? A smile, an encouraging word, or a small, unnoticed act of help? Start with the simplest things, and watch the transformative power they bring, not just for others, but for yourself as well. Planting seeds to receive happiness. There is a simple yet profound truth: every act of compassion, no matter how small, brings a spark of joy into your heart. The important thing is that this joy doesn't always appear immediately, but in its own time, it will return to you. The Buddha called this the karma of happiness. Plant a seed of kindness, and one day, that seed will grow, bearing fruit for both you and the world around you. Imagine a wealthy merchant who regularly helps those in need. He does it not for praise, nor for any expectation in return. Yet, when unexpected hardships strike his business, those very people he had helped in the past step forward to support him, helping him navigate challenges he could never have faced alone. This is a living example of the karma of happiness. When you sow goodness, the world responds in ways you least expect. What's fascinating is that planting seeds of kindness isn't limited to direct interactions. Every kind act creates a ripple effect, like a stone dropped into a pond, sending waves outward endlessly. A word of encouragement, a smile, or a simple act of help, all of these are seeds of positivity, planting joy not just for the recipient, but also for yourself. Have you ever noticed that helping someone brings you more joy than receiving a gift or praise? That's because compassion connects you with the best part of yourself, opening a sense of fulfillment and peace that money or possessions cannot provide. Those who practice compassion often find that even in difficult times, they can still find light, because they have planted seeds of kindness in the past. So today, what seeds are you planting? Maybe a small act that makes someone smile, or a quiet gesture that helps someone in need. Trust that everything you give will return in its own way, bringing joy, peace, and sometimes even unexpected opportunities. In this sense, planting seeds isn't just about giving, it's the most complete way to receive happiness in return. The attitude of giving. When we think about giving, it's not just about what you give, but also the attitude you bring. Many people give hoping for praise, recognition, or to create a good image in the eyes of others. But that is not true giving. Genuine giving is giving without expectation. Like a river flowing down the mountain, the water pours freely, keeping nothing for itself, yet nourishes all life along the way. Imagine an elderly monk, quietly teaching children to read in a small village every day. No one knows, no one notices, and no one praises him. Yet, with each passing day, his heart is full of peace. He experiences the quiet joy of planting seeds of knowledge and kindness, and it is precisely this unseen, humble work that gives him a deep and lasting happiness that no applause could ever match. Your attitude when giving determines the quality and strength of the happiness you receive in return. When you give to be recognized or appreciated, your heart remains bound, and your joy is incomplete. But when you give from a free and sincere heart, without calculation or expectation, you create a ripple of positive energy that touches not only the recipient, but also brings calm and clarity to your own soul. Ask yourself, can you practice giving completely without calculation, without seeking acknowledgement, even when no one sees your actions? When you can, you realize a simple but profound truth. The greatest joy in giving comes from the act itself, not from what you receive in return. Giving with the right attitude teaches us humility, sincerity, and the ability to let go of the ego. It is like a mirror reflecting your inner world. What you sow is what you reap. When you give without holding back, you free yourself from invisible constraints and experience pure peace that no material wealth or reputation can provide. So today, will you dare to give without expecting anything in return? A smile, a word of encouragement, a small, unseen act of help. This is true giving, and it is the path to lasting happiness. Compassion as a healing energy. Compassion is not only about helping others, it is a powerful energy that heals the soul of the giver. When you open your heart, empathize, and care for others, you are simultaneously healing your own wounds and nurturing a calmer, more resilient inner self. Imagine a mother who has lost her beloved child. The grief seems unbearable, and her heart feels shattered over endless days. But instead of being consumed by sorrow, she begins caring for orphan children, little ones who are also lacking warmth and love. At first, she thought she was helping them, but gradually, her own heart began to heal. Joy emerged as she witnessed their smiles, their innocent eyes, and a sense of peace returned to her soul. This story illustrates that compassion is a living energy. It doesn't deplete when you give. On the contrary, it fills your heart even more. By planting seeds of kindness and care, you create a space for healing, where pain can transform into strength, joy, and meaning. Have you ever noticed the feeling after helping someone, even with a small gesture, listening to their troubles or offering a genuine smile, where your heart feels lighter and warmer? That is the healing power of compassion, where peace and joy arise not from outside, but from the authentic connection between you and another person. The Buddha taught, compassion not only rescues others from suffering, but it also brings peace to the heart of the one who practices it. When you practice compassion regularly, you are not only sowing blessings for others, but also creating a strong inner environment where you can face pain, loss, or challenges with calmness and clarity. So today, are you ready to open your heart and let compassion heal you? A small act of kindness, a word of encouragement, or simply genuine care is enough to spark a transformative journey within your soul. In this way, compassion is not only about giving, it is a source of restoration and light for your own heart. Giving in daily life. Giving doesn't only happen on special occasions or in religious ceremonies. Every day, every moment offers an opportunity to plant seeds of goodness. It can be so simple that you hardly notice. Helping a colleague who is overwhelmed, offering your seat to someone else, or simply listening to a friend going through a tough time. These small acts are all forms of giving, and their impact is far from small. Imagine a weary office worker after a long day. Cramped on a crowded bus, exhausted, his mind drained. But when he sees an elderly person standing, he decides to offer his seat. The person smiles warmly and thanks him sincerely. In that instant, the fatigue and frustration melt away like a gentle breeze. Just a small gesture, requiring little effort, yet it brings immediate joy and peace to both giver and receiver. The beauty of daily giving is that it doesn't require grandeur or display. When you open your heart, show care, and share in the simplest moments, you create a ripple of positive impact, spreading joy and happiness not just to one person, but potentially to the whole community. A smile, a kind word, a simple act of consideration can brighten someone's day, and yours. Have you noticed that these small daily acts of giving often bring a warmer, calmer feeling than major accomplishments or material rewards? Daily giving nurtures compassion, strengthens connections, and reminds us that true happiness often comes from simple, sincere acts. The Buddha taught, even a small act of compassion plants the seed of happiness in someone's heart. When you realize that giving can happen at any moment, you begin to see opportunities everywhere, in work, at home, in everyday interactions. And when these seeds are sown consistently, they create a stream of positive energy, helping you live with peace, joy, and deeper connection to the world around you. So today, what seed of goodness will you plant in your daily life? Offering your seat to the elderly, helping a colleague with a task, or simply listening to a friend. Each small act has the power to transform the heart, and that is the extraordinary power of giving in everyday life. Overcoming fear and selfishness. We often live in the fear of loss, fear of losing money, time, or something we hold dear. This fear makes us cling, hesitate, and sometimes prevents us from performing acts of kindness or giving. But the Buddha revealed a profound truth: giving does not diminish you. On the contrary, it opens the door to new happiness and freedom within your heart. Imagine a young man, ambitious but anxious about his finances. When invited to participate in a charitable activity, he felt fear. If I give, will I be lacking? Am I losing an opportunity? Yet he decided to try, donating a small portion of his money to help underprivileged children go to school. Right after giving, instead of loss, he felt light and unburdened. The emptiness was replaced by a vibrant energy, and a deep joy emerged from the most unexpected place, his own heart. This story reminds us that fear of loss and selfishness are illusions of the mind. When you share, you are not diminished. Giving generates positive energy, expanding the capacity to receive joy, connection, and peace. Practicing generosity is a way to challenge fear and liberate yourself from attachment, allowing you to experience true happiness. Have you ever let fear of loss stop you from helping someone? Imagine daring to give without fear. Joy will appear in ways you never expected, and this act will allow you to feel inner freedom, openness, and gratitude in every moment. The Buddha taught that true giving is not about receiving in return, but giving from a free heart, unbound and without calculation. When you dare to release selfishness, you not only benefit others, but also open a path of healing, happiness, and peace for yourself. Today, try facing your fears and give something, a gift, a word of encouragement, or a simple act of kindness, without expectation or calculation. You will discover that giving is the most powerful way to overcome fear, and the path to genuine joy. Compassion and giving as a cycle. Compassion and giving are not isolated acts. They are like an endless cycle, where the seed of goodness you plant today can bloom into the seed of happiness tomorrow. When you help someone, you are not just changing their moment, you are planting a seed of kindness in their life, a seed that may continue to grow, spread, and bring joy to many others in the future. Consider a poor family facing hardship, struggling to make ends meet. When they receive help from someone's compassionate heart, they feel warmth, support, and hope to overcome their difficulties. These seeds of love not only help them survive the immediate challenge, but also inspire them to become givers themselves when they are able. Years later, once the family is stable, they become philanthropists, supporting others and continuing the cycle of compassion. This story demonstrates that giving is not just a present act, it is a long-lasting ripple of positive impact, where each act of kindness is a step in a chain of good karma. The person who receives today can become the giver tomorrow, and through this, positive energy spreads beyond personal boundaries. Have you ever wondered how a single act of kindness you do today could shape the future? A word of encouragement, a small gift, or a genuine act of care can not only help someone in the moment, but also plant seeds for lasting happiness, even for future generations. This is the miraculous cycle of compassion and giving, never-ending, limitless, always multiplying. The Buddha taught that true giving, combined with compassion, creates seeds of merit in life. When you realize that every act of kindness carries karmic value, you see that every time you give is an opportunity to sow happiness, and your heart, in turn, is nourished by joy, peace, and gratitude. Today, ask yourself, how will the seeds you plant today spread? Who will be touched by your compassion? And who will continue to share that love in the future? When you live with awareness of this cycle, every small action gains meaning, and every kind gesture becomes a step in the journey of sowing happiness. The mindset of the giver. Sowing seeds of goodness is not just about the act itself, it is the mindset of the giver. When you share, help, or simply perform a kind act, what matters most is not the material value you offer, but the sense of peace and joy you carry within. The Buddha taught, the greatest happiness is seeing others happy. This mindset is what amplifies the power of giving. Imagine a group of volunteers preparing meals for cancer patients in a hospital. They receive no money, seek no recognition, and desire no praise. Every meal, every dish is prepared with care and love, and the magic lies in the peace within their hearts, which becomes their priceless reward. When they see the patient smiles, fatigue melts away, leaving only warmth and deep joy. This story reminds us that the heart of the giver is more important than the act itself. If you give with anxiety, regret, or calculation, the joy diminishes, and the act can even feel like a burden. Conversely, when you give with a calm, free, and sincere heart, the happiness you receive in return is complete and enduring. Have you noticed that when you help someone with a peaceful heart, you feel alive, energized, and uplifted? And when you give while worrying, stressed, or expecting something in return, the act loses its depth. This is why the Buddha emphasized, true happiness doesn't come from material gain, but from the joy of others and the serenity within yourself. Ask yourself, when you sow seeds of goodness today, what is your mindset? Can you take a moment to cultivate peace, relax, and feel joy in every action? When you do, you'll realize that true joy comes not from what you receive, but from what you give wholeheartedly. And when this mindset becomes a habit, every small act of kindness brings lasting joy, not only to the recipient, but also to you. This is the secret to sowing goodness and receiving complete happiness, a truth the Buddha shared thousands of years ago. Compassion and giving, the art of living. Imagine life as a vast canvas. Every kind act, every smile, every gesture of sharing is a brushstroke, contributing to the masterpiece of happiness. Compassion and giving are not random acts or obligations. They are an art of living, where we learn to plant seeds of goodness, nurture joy, and inspire those around us. There is a small village where everyone lives with compassion and a spirit of sharing. When someone faces hardship, the entire community comes together to help. When there is joy, everyone shares it. Here, smiles and happiness become the most precious treasures, and no one feels lacking, because they understand that true wealth comes from the heart and the love they share. Simple acts, offering food, helping the elderly, or teaching children, contribute to a vibrant, meaningful picture of life. This story reminds us that compassion and giving are not just actions. They are a way of life, a path that fills each day with meaning and joy. When you see life through this lens, even the smallest actions matter. A kind word, a smile, or a moment of genuine listening is the art of sowing goodness. Have you ever thought that the way you live, the way you interact with others, is the painting you create every day? By sowing goodness from your heart, you not only transform yourself, but also spread positive energy to those around you. Happiness is no longer a distant goal. It is found in the moments you create through compassion and sharing. The Buddha taught that living with compassion and generosity is the path to true and lasting happiness. When acts of kindness become habits, when every small gesture becomes an opportunity to spread joy, you realize that life itself is an art, and you are the artist painting the masterpiece of happiness. Let compassion and giving become your art of living. Each day, plant a seed of goodness, share a smile, and watch joy ripple outward. When you do, you will see that happiness is no longer distant. It exists in every action, every moment, and in your own heart. Conclusion: Buddha's teaching. Remember, happiness is not about holding on, accumulating, or receiving, it is about giving. When you sow seeds of goodness through compassion and acts of generosity, you not only transform your own life, but also plant seeds of joy that ripple through the world. Every small act of kindness carries a hidden power, one you may not see immediately, but it will surely inspire and bring joy to others. Imagine a seed you plant today. It is small, fragile, but with care, love, and patience, it will grow into a tall tree, offering shade, bearing sweet fruit, and spreading light to far more people than you could imagine. Similarly, your acts of compassion, whether a kind word, a smile, or a helping hand, may not change the world overnight, but they set in motion a cycle of happiness, inspiring others to give and returning joy to your own heart in ways you never expected. Have you ever wondered what seed you will plant today? A gentle word, a helping gesture, or a moment of listening with your heart? Each choice matters because true happiness is not distant. It lives in every action, every moment, and within your own heart. When you understand this, life becomes richer and more meaningful than ever. The Buddha taught that compassion and generosity are the path to lasting happiness, the way to free and peaceful hearts. When you give from the heart, you create joy not just for others, but for yourself as well. Every seed you plant today is a chance to change the world, a reminder that true happiness always begins with an open heart and acts of kindness. So today, what seed will you plant? A smile, a kind action, or words of love? Plant the seed, and watch how happiness blooms, not only in your life, but spreading to everyone around you.